Well, Charles, Oscar Pistorius has many sponsors. He has many endorsement deals, namely Nike is one of the big ones. And Nike is not the only one that has to rethink its links to Pistorius. His personal story of victory against the odds made a lot of companies keen to bring him onto their team. His other sponsors include British Telecom, orthopedics company Össur, fashion designer Thierry Mugler, and sportswear company Oakley. In fact, if you look closely at this photo of Pistorius's arrest, you can see that he was even wearing an Oakley hoodie as he was taken from his home. You can see the logo right there. For more on the fallout from this scandal and how these big sponsors really can deal with a huge dilemma like this, I'm joined now by Andrew Kirk. He's the managing director of PR firm Edelman, Hong Kong. Andrew, thank you so much for being with us. This is such a tragic and huge story. I just want to draw your attention to this picture because Oakley obviously did not sign up for this when they signed him on to be one of their sponsors. So for a brand like Oakley or Nike or some of the others, at this point, many of them have made statements saying, we're very sorry for all the families involved, but we're going to refrain from making a comment until this police investigation is over. At this point, what should they do? What's the next step?
At the moment, most of them are doing what they should be doing, what is appropriate. They have withdrawn all advertising, they've sent messages of sympathy and condolence, and they do have to wait for the court proceedings to take place. The real question for brands is, what impact will this have on my relationship with my stakeholders, the people that I care about, my customers and those who are loyal to me? And the essence there for us is around trust. And when you sponsor someone like this, you are building superheroes, you're building people that are heroes that people can look up to, and so there is an element of trust that must be created. And if that trust is broken, it will impact the reputation of the brand. Okay, so there's this element of trust, but this is different from, say, the Tiger Woods scandal and the Michael Vick scandal, the American football player. This is a homicide. So I mean, when you're talking about an element of trust, shouldn't a company have discussions about separating themselves from a situation like this? Yeah, I mean, this is certainly a very tragic story, different from every other story we've talked about when you look at sport and sponsorships. The others are more trend-based stories. So if you look at, say, doping in sport, Lance Armstrong, racism, John Terry, animal cruelty, they're trends in sport. This is a unique event, and that's why I think sponsors at the moment will be sitting around going, what do we do here? And the question they need to ask themselves is, how will this impact our perception with our brand, and how those who work with us and want to enjoy our relationship, what will impact them? But isn't it better to act quickly if you're a major brand? Because the criticism with Nike, with the Tiger Woods scandal, was they didn't act quickly enough to say anything. And in a situation like this, which is just one end of the spectrum, the extreme end of the spectrum, in your opinion, is it better to act quickly and make a decision early on? We always say act quickly, tell the truth, act quickly, come out first. I think they are still waiting to find out what happens today. I mean, he is still being accused. We still have to wait for the criminal proceedings to take place. And so all companies will be sitting back saying, let that go to due course and due process, and then a decision will be made. I have no doubt at the end of that there'll be some quick decisions made depending on the outcome of this. And when a major company decides to sign on a superstar athlete, you never really know what that individual's tendencies can be. No, you're dealing with humans. Yeah, so there's a little bit of a gamble, isn't there? There is a little bit of a gamble, but there's a big payoff as well. I mean, this is big business, big names, big sports, and it's proven that good sponsorships work extremely well. There are risks involved, and you need to assess those threats all the time. You need to ask yourself, what will happen in a situation like this? What is the story arc? What is the trend? What is the threat that impacts our brand, and how will we handle ourselves in that situation? And in the end, do you think consumers have a long memory or a short memory? I think consumers are smart enough to separate the two. I think they appreciate that sponsorships serve a purpose, and especially if it's involved in something unique like this. This is a very tragic event. It's different when sponsors support an event like Lance Armstrong and doping. As soon as Lance Armstrong said he was guilty, Nike separated straight away. Because Nike is a sports performance brand, and if you impact the sport, they will separate with you straight away. That's why they may not have done that with Tiger Woods. All right, Andrew, thank you very much for your take on this. Andrew Kirk from Edelman here in Hong Kong.